Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be doing a tutorial on the soft dog. Now the first thing I've done is hoop a piece of tearaway stabilizer, because when it comes to in the hoop projects, that's pretty much your first step, is hooping a piece of tearaway stabilizer. I'm going to be working with an 8x12 hoop today. Okay, so let's get started. I've already cut my fabric, it's ready to go, and I've got my first of 5 designs uploaded into my machine, and it's entitled front legs. So as you can see, there's only 3 different colors, which means there's only 3 steps in this design, and actually the first one is a tack down stitch. So what you're going to want to do is take your first piece of fabric and you're going to lay it right in the middle, and that first stitch is going to secure this piece of fabric right side up to your stabilizer. Okay, so tack down stitch is complete. So from here on out, everything from this part of the design, this file, is going to be done inside this rectangle that it just created. So what the next stitch is the pads to your dog's paws. So that's also going to be done on this piece of fabric. Okay, so the stitch is complete. It stitched out both of the dog paws, and now the last stitch in this design is to secure your next piece of fabric to this front piece of fabric in order to make the dog legs. So same thing, you're going to take this fabric, put it right side down, and make sure the fabric is covering that little rectangle stitch, because that everything's going to be done inside that rectangle. Okay, we are all done with this portion of the design. Your embroidery machine should have told you that that was the last step in this particular file. So the next one you're going to pull up is the back legs, and it's going to be the same exact thing that we did for this one. So you're going to take everything off the hoop here, remove the stabilizer, cut away the excess fabric, and you're going to turn these paws inside out, or right side out, sorry. And you're going to do the same exact thing for the next file. It's the same file, except it's a little bit on the bigger side because it's the back legs. Okay, so by this time you should be done with the front legs and the back legs. And you should already have them turned right side out and stuffed. Just make sure when you do the stuffing to leave a little bit at the end that doesn't have stuffing, so when it comes to attaching the back legs and the front legs to your dog, you'll have some room. The next thing we're going to be doing after you attach another piece of stabilizer, go ahead and put these legs over to the side. You're not going to be needing them for right now. Is we're going to be doing the bandana. So you should have a file labeled bandana. Upload that into your embroidery machine, and it actually only has one step on this one. So you're going to grab your pieces of fabric that you've chosen. You should be 2 identical pieces of fabric, and you're going to sandwich them together, right sides together, and then you're going to place them in the middle of your hoop. Okay, and then from here, this stitch is going to stitch out the outline of the bandana, leaving a small gap for you to turn the bandana right side out. Okay, so the outline for the bandana is done. You're going to remove it from your hoop, And you're going to do the same thing like you did the front legs and the back legs. You're going to go ahead and remove your stabilizer, and you're going to cut all the excess fabric away, and then you're going to turn it right side out. This one you're not going to stuff, so when you cut all the excess fabric away, make sure you leave a little bit of fabric laying over the edges. So when you do turn it right side out, you have some fabric to tuck in and ladder stitch close. And I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the last thing we did was the bandana, and this is what it should look like. I removed it from the hoop. I took off all the stabilizer. I removed all the excess fabric. I tucked my fabric where that gap was, did a ladder stitch, and then I also attached snaps to the end so that way it's able to snap onto the dog. Okay, so we're going to put this aside, and we're going to work on the next step in the process. And the next step is going to be the ears. So you want to hoop another piece of tearaway stabilizer. Take the 2 pieces of fabric you have chosen for the ears. You're going to sandwich them together, right sides together, and you're going to place them in the middle of your hoop. And for this one, you should have uploaded the ears already, and it's only 1 stitch, and all it's going to be doing is the outline of the dog ears. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so the ears are complete. Did the outline of both the ears. So the next step in the process is we're going to remove everything from the hoop, and we're going to do the same thing like we did the last couple steps. You're going to remove your stabilizer, cut the excess fabric away from the stitching, turn the ears right side out, and put them off to the side. And then we're going to upload our next design, which is the body. Okay, so we are on to our last design in the hoop project. I have went ahead and hooped my last piece of tearaway stabilizer, and the first step in the process is to lay down your first piece of fabric for your body piece, and you're going to lay it right side up, right in the middle of the hoop. Okay, and then I'm going to do the first stitch. Okay, so your tack down stitch is done, and now your first piece of fabric is attached to your stabilizer. The next step in the process is going to do a placement stitch for the piece that goes over the eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that stitch. Okay, so we have the placement stitch for the eye patch. Now what you want to do is take your piece of fabric, and you're going to place it right over that placement stitch line. And then your next stitch is going to be the tack down stitch, which secures this piece of fabric to your stabilizer, making sure that your piece of fabric is right side up. Okay, so the tack down stitch is done. So what you're going to want to do now is take your applique scissors or a really piece of sharp scissors, and you're going to cut away from the top left corner here all the way around the bottom side to the bottom right corner. You're going to take away all this excess fabric right here. Again, only from this bottom right corner, all this fabric down here, up to this top left-hand corner. Okay, so I cut away this piece of fabric close to the line, because our next step in the design is it going to do a satin stitch right over this line here covering this edge. Okay, so our satin stitch is complete, and now your next couple of stitches is going to be the face of the dog. So I'm going to go ahead and do all those steps, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the face is all done. We have it over here, and I went ahead and did the placement stitch, which is your following stitch for your arms, your ears, and your legs. So we're going to go ahead and attach those right now. You're going to use your painter's tape and attach your ears here, your front legs here, and your legs down here. Okay, so I have everything taped down, and if it makes it easier on you, if your machine is able to do a slower stitch than the normal fast stitch that it does to help you guide the stitches to tack down all of your legs and your ears, it's probably a good idea to do it. If you don't mind going that fast and tacking down everything, then go ahead and do it. So we're going to go ahead and tack everything down, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we have it. I removed all of my tape, and you've got all of your attachments here. You got your ears, your front legs, and your back legs. So for this next one, you're going to grab your next piece of fabric and you're going to place it over the entire project here. And what you do want to make sure of is the ears are nicely tucked in towards the middle. And then at the bottom, you're going to bring the front legs down in between the two bottom legs. So the bottom legs are actually going to stick out the bottom, and then these arms are going to go in between the legs. Because for your next stitch, it's going to do all the way around the body, but the bottom here is going to be where the gap is for you to turn your dog right side out. All right, here you have him. I've already removed him from my machine, so my next steps is going to be removing him from my hoop and cutting away all the excess fabric, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn him right side out. Okay, and here we have him. He's turned right side out. I've got his front legs and his back legs all turned out. See the holes at the bottom here? Now what you want to do now is you're going to stuff him, and then you're going to ladder stitch this bottom part closed, and then you're going to attach your bandana. So I'm going to go ahead and finish him up, and then I'll be back on. Okay, he's all done. We've got him nice and stuffed. We've got his bandana on. Well, mine's a girl. I did mine in a pink, so she's a girl. And the great thing about this design is you can actually make a memory dog or a keepsake dog where you can take old pieces of clothing, say from a loved one or a baby, and you can make one of these dogs. And then this file for the bandana is a single file, so you can easily put a name on it or a monogram, and then even during the holidays, just upload that one file and make a whole bunch of bandanas, and you can make interchangeable bandanas for the one dog. So I really hope you enjoyed and was able to follow this tutorial. I had a lot of fun making this dog, and I definitely have a lot of ideas in mind for what I'm going to do next. So have a great day and happy stitching, everyone.